Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Gaudensia Nyabeta, and in this video I'm going to talk about the war in Russia. Now, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ, when God gives you a prophetic dream, it has a weight on you. There is a weight that it carries. There is a burden that it gives you, because this is now information you have and you don't know what to do with it other than to bring it to God in prayer so that he may reveal more, so that you may intercede for it, and also that you may stand in the gap. I mean, God, as he asked, who shall we send? Who shall go for us? That you may just say, here I am, send me, if he desires, then to use you to create that bridge for his salvation, for his manifestation of his redemption, of his will. Now, there was one time I had a dream, and in that dream I was I live in Germany, in a German airport, and on the board there was a blackboard, a poster, a blackboard, yes, a big blackboard there is positioned somewhere in the airport. And on that blackboard it was written, World Third World War coming soon. World War III coming soon. Immediately I had read that. It was a blackboard and a white chalk. It was written, the writings were on white chalk. Third World War coming soon. Third World War coming soon. That's what the writings. Now, immediately then I was in that war. Now, what had happened is, as I read that, immediately I experienced the war in that dream. Then people were running from the airport. I see we were running to our left side. We were trying to go and hide in. We were saying, the people we were with, I had an understanding. They were saying, let's go and hide in some forest, in some place near water. Let's go and hide, but not be in the buildings, in the buildings. Now, there were a lot of people. We were moving to our left side, and then we went down the road. I see we are still in German because I can see the buildings of German. I see the scenario of the of Germans of a city in German. Now I look up one tall building and I see an old woman, white woman, standing at the balcony of a tall building. Then I really sympathize with her. And I say, oh, poor her. She cannot come down and run with us away to hide in the forest and around, because she's an old woman and she's going to remain in the house. So we walked down the road, and we came to a river, and there was a forest there. And I see on the other side of the river men already having these machine guns. And beyond that part of the dream, I won't speak of it. Now, the good news about that dream is the Lord is faithful. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that the Lord is faithful. You know, when God has He has done this with this one word in my life. And now from this word henceforth, and I pray that you also believe, I will believe forever to eternity. Why? God gave me another dream. In this dream, I was summoned in a, let's say it was a meeting of important people. Now, and I sat on that table. There were important people I did not recognize, but I just knew the atmosphere was of very important people. Now, the person who spoke, I could not say it was God, but it was a representative of, because Either it was an angel, or it was a saint, or it was someone who knew the information. Now, he gave it to me in a form of a human form, but I knew it was the Spirit of God speaking. Now, I sat there and they summoned me. I sat on that long rectangle table. And as I sat on that table, they said, concerning the war of Russia, which was going to cause the Third World War, it is not going to happen. The Third World War is not going to take place. The reason being that Russia had started war and they all went in minor wars, which have exhausted their resources. Out of this reason, there is not going to be a third world war. And that was the end of that dream. Do you know what was impressive? What was the way that person started speaking concerning the war of Russia? There shall not be, there will not be a third world war, which could have come to pass through the war that Russia had started. But Russia had involved itself in small other wars that has exhausted its resources. They have involved themselves. I remember he used this word prolo again. I don't know now who was referring other than the Russia. They have involved themselves in minor wars and exhausted their resources. There shall be now and that therefore there shall be no third world war. In another way of saying that was there will be no third world war because the minor wars have exhausted their resources. And that third world war was going to break forth from the war that Russia involved itself in. But now because they have involved themselves in minor wars, they are out of resources of making a third world war to come. My dear sisters and brothers, is that an information you can receive and be at peace drinking your water and tea in your coffee table at home? No. Let me tell you. Now, after I woke up from that dream, I remembered the dream that the Lord gave me concerning I was in the airport and the blackboard was written Third World War coming soon. Now here it comes again, gives me a dream, affirming that prophecy that I gave, that there shall be no war. Here I corrected. This is the new information, a progressive revelation of information. There shall be no third world war because they've involved themselves in minor wars which have exhausted their resources. Can you see how faithful God is? Can you see how, you see, maybe someone is listening to this and saying, oh dear, young woman, but you must be in my shoes for you to perceive, for you to even test what it is to have received that kind of information. One, it has relieved me that we are not going to have a third world war. Which when I was saying I'm not going to explain when I was experiencing it, oh my heart goes to the people who have experienced war. Because when after we had gotten that river and I'd seen that man, the first dream, who I was having that machine gun, and I felt what it is to be in the war, though in a dream. I felt how horrible that feeling is. I felt how insecure that feeling is. I felt how a human being should not be involved in war in any way or manner. I felt how horrible wars are. I was meant to feel it. Devastating, distressing, horrible. You literally felt, I literally felt, what is a human breath worth if it can be put in this state of war, in state of fear, state of insecurity, state of oppression? What is a human breath worth? My heart goes to every person who's gone through war. We have heard enough wars amongst ourselves as human beings, which are completely unnecessary. Human beings, we have so much involved that we have means and terms to communicate our conflicts and settle them in a civilized way, in a human way, without eroding humanity, without a soul perishing out of a war, out of a gun, out of oppression. There is enough resources that is in in this earth, in this planet earth, in this universe, to feed all of us, to provide for all of us. War is not a solution. That ideology that people think that we are being sold, they went for war because it helps them after the war to rebuild so that they can make money. That's that's bullshit. War is not a solution to humanity. It's not. When we think about what does really history tell us? Okay, well, let's say we have enough information, a data bank of all our mistakes, of all the unnecessary wars that we've gone into. What have we learned out of them? I mean, let's go to history and learn again. Why are we making the same mistakes again and again? Which literally leads us to nowhere. Instead, it leads us, you know, it 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 I rebuke everyone. I rebuke that's evil spirit that causes wars among nations, among human beings in humanity. I rebuke that evil spirit of war. I rebuke wars. I so I didn't want to get into politics concerning any form of 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 my own thought concerning that. But the reality is, we do not need war. I almost went to speak about um, the repercussions of the Western politics in Africa at large, but I am kind of holding back because this is not the platform for it, and you know this is not the platform for it. But it is a platform where I want to share the prophetic words that the Lord has given me and to call us to to be prayerful, to intercede, and to seek God's will, seek God's knowledge concerning humanity, because God is a God of just. God is righteous, God is just. He loves justice and he hates injustice. He hates oppression. He, he finds it an abomination for him. And he has also desired us as children of God to come to him, to humble ourselves, to deal justly and to do charity works, to cater for the poor, the oppressed, the widow, the fatherless. That is of how he desires us to give ourselves to those who are less privileged, to be a providers, supporters pro- of those who are less privileged, by humbling ourselves, working justly, and doing charity work. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.